Gentleman from California, Mr. Costa, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ask unanimous consent to address the House for 5 minutes and to advise and extend my remarks.
The gentleman is recognized without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to bring attention to the extreme winter storms that continue to batter California and the West Coast, leaving some Californians stranded in their homes and communities across the state with damaged infrastructure, almost over 16 million people that have been impacted in recent weeks. Last week, Governor Newsom declared a state of emergency for 13 counties, including Tulare County, which I represent, and other important areas. State officials estimate that over $1 billion in damage have already been experienced. California's snowpack is approaching record levels, and in most cases that would be good news. In California, Sierra Nevada, they're thinking that this may rival the 1982-1983 snow year. However, what's good news that from a state that suffered long-term drought that had forced residents to cut usage and ration water, farmers to fallow hundreds and thousands of acres of productive land, have left landowners with record number of dry wells in the Central Valley. That was just a few months ago. But now the situation's changed. And with these storms, we now have to do a better job of managing in real time with long-term water regulations that aren't working. We need to better prepare to avoid what happened in communities like Planal, where flooding damaged farms and displaced farm workers in this community and others. That's why we need to fast-track improvements to our water infrastructure, using every tool in our water toolbox to divert water and to recharge overdraft. You can see from the snowpacks here and from the flooding there. This is what's been occurring since the beginning of the first of the year. Therefore, we must increase water storage in all ways, in wet years like this one, to ensure that we can withstand the dry spells. We have projects that have been completed, like the Sites Reservoir, that have been talked about for years, would have been able to store 1.5 million acre-feet of additional water. Thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure law, we do have federal dollars available to expand projects that are currently in the process. Los Vasqueros, Del Porte reservoirs, raising San Luis Dam, and that will be filled in another 45 days, San Luis Reservoir. In addition, this weekend, we're going to have a major test in California because forecasters are predicting another atmospheric rivers that will provide warm storms. Warm storms are a problem which could melt recent snow up in the mountains. When warm water hits that snow, it melts. And if that happens, our rivers will carry a deluge of water toward vulnerable communities that we may not be able to protect. These massive fluctuations from extreme wet years to extreme dry periods are a result of climate change, and we need to make smart investments to do a better job to prepare for the new reality. Knowing this, we need to make real changes in how we allow water managers to adjust and focus on real-time operations, not some predetermined date rooted in decades-old data. I commend Governor Newsom for issuing an executive order to expand California's capacity to capture storm runoff during these wet times, also accelerating groundwater recharge projects, which is absolutely necessary. Last week, the Bureau of Reclamation announced an initial allocation of 35% south of the Delta for agriculture and water service contractors. We can and should do better. It's understandably a conservative initial allocation, but now we have more heavy rains coming. It's time to raise those allocations to the highest feasible levels. We must divert water to our communities and farmers who are ready and willing to take groundwater for groundwater recharge. And toward the future, I am working to rewrite the Farm Bill this year to improve water conservation, enhance opportunities for groundwater recharge, so that we can adjust to the overdrafted aquifers and attain sustainability. The people of our valley, the San Joaquin Valley, deserve no less, and California, with a new water blueprint, needs to invest the $1.2 trillion in the Bipartisan Investment Act, $4.5 billion for drought relief. Taking action and mastering real-time management will mean that no one goes without having access to clean drinking water. Our farmers can grow food where water flows. We say food grows for our country and for other parts of the world that need that food. And our environment can thrive. That's what we must do. We have a current crisis. We must act now to address that crisis, and that is the challenge we face. I yield back the balance of my time.